You know, I got entirely smug there for a minute about how well this was going. So naturally, I can't get the intro to play. And that's just a video. Like, I should just have to hit play and then ta-da, video. But no, it's not working. So, welcome to Tea and New Book Tuesday. I'm Lisa. I'll be your librarian today. You know, it never fails. This is never going to be perfect. If you're here for perfect, what are you doing? You're just going to make yourself unhappy. We don't want that. All right, today we are moving on to March titles. As always, Tea and New Book Tuesday is an opportunity to hear about books that have been pre-ordered by Mobile Public Library and are on their way, many of which will be on the shelves as early as release day. You can put them on hold now because they're all in the catalog. Today we're going to talk about the books that are most likely to end up as bestsellers and end up on the new book flyer, and therefore the most likely to have their hold list completely filled, meaning we have as many holds as we have books, and therefore it doesn't hit the shelf prior to release. So we're going to go over those today. I'm also going to do the giveaway, as always, as it is your favorite part of Tea and New Book Tuesday and mine. So we'll do giveaway, and we will do March hits. But let's go back here. Let's start with your favorite part of Tea and New Book Tuesday and mine, the giveaway. The giveaway form is already up and running. I turned it on like a person who knows what they're doing. Again, like a person who knows what they're doing, not a person who does because, you know. Anyway, so we're going to, first of all, my tea today is, again, my Tazo Lemon Strawberry Green Tea because that's just sort of, I'm in a very green tea mood. All of this discussion about health and the last 2 years have made me like, I just want something mellow and healthy feeling and lovely. Though I will probably drink a cherry Coke with my lunch because I am an American. Okay, so our books that we're giving away today includes 2 not yet released books. So 2 books that are coming out in March and 2 that are a little older. Let's start with the older titles first. I've got 3 fiction and 1 nonfiction. So up first, Home Reading Service by Fabio Marabito. This is a poignant novel. A man guilty of a minor offense finds purpose unexpectedly by way of his punishment, reading to others. This was translated from, I believe, the Spanish. Oh, no. Okay. No, maybe. Oh, yes. It was translated from the Spanish. Fabio was born in Egypt to an Italian family, and then when he was 15, they relocated from Milan to Mexico City. And he's fluent in Spanish and writes in Spanish. So, after an accident, or the misfortune, as his cancer-ridden father's caretaker Celeste calls it, Eduardo is sentenced to a year of community service reading to the elderly and disabled. Stripped of his driver's license and feeling impotent as he nears 35, he leads a dull, lonely life, chatting occasionally with a waitress of a local restaurant or walking the streets of a city that's name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Once a quiet town known for its lush gardens and swimming pools, the city of Eternal Spring is now plagued by robberies, kidnappings, and other myriad forms of violence bred by drug trafficking. At first, Eduardo seems unable to connect. He movingly reads the words of Dostoevsky, Henry James, Daphne du Maurier, and more, but doesn't truly understand them. His eccentric listeners, including 2 brothers, one mute, who moves his lips while the other acts as a ventriloquist, deaf parents raising children they don't know are hearing, and a beautiful wheelchair-bound mezzo-soprano, sense his detachment. Then Eduardo comes across a poem his father had copied by the Mexican poet Isabel Ferrer, and it affects him as no literature has before. Through those fascinating characters, like the practical, quick-witted Celeste, who intuitively grasps poetry even though she never learned to read, Fabio Marabito shows how art can help us rediscover meaning in a corrupt, unequal society. So that's Home Reading Service. Next up, we have another translation. This is from a highly award-winning French author. It's called The Anomaly. It's by Hervé Letellier. In their own way, they were all living double lives when they boarded the plane. Blake, a respectable family man who works as a contract killer. Slim Boy, a Nigerian pop star who uses his womanizing image to hide that he's gay. Joanna, a black American lawyer pressured to play the good old boys game to succeed with her big pharma client. Victor Miesel, a critically acclaimed yet largely obscure writer suddenly on the precipice of global fame. About to start their descent to JFK, they hit a shockingly violent patch of turbulence, emerging on the other side to a reality both perfectly familiar and utterly strange. As it charts the fallout of this logic-defying event, The Anomaly takes us on a journey from Lagos to Mumbai to the White House and a top-secret hangar. In Hervé Letellier's most ambitious work yet, high literature follows the lead of a bingeable Netflix series, drawing on the best genre fiction from chick lit, don't know why I couldn't say that, to mystery, while also playfully critiquing their hallmarks. An ingeniously timely variation of the doppelganger thing, it taps into the parts of ourselves that elude us the most. So that's The Anomaly. Okay. The next one was brand new, was sent to me directly from the publisher. And I was immediately like, oh yeah, this is going to make a terrific prize. This is one of the pre-pubs. This comes out March 15th. It's nonfiction. It's called Dress Code. Unlocking Fashion from the New Look to the Millennial Pink. By Veronique Hyland. Why does fashion hold so much power over us? Most of us care about how we dress and how we present ourselves. Style offers clues about everything from class to which in-group we belong to. Dress code takes aim at the institutions within the fashion industry while reminding us of the importance of dress and what it means for self-presentation. Everything from societal changes to the progress or lack thereof of women's rights to the hidden motivations behind what we choose to wear to align ourselves with a particular social group can be tracked through clothing. Veronique Hyland examines many thought-provoking questions. Why has the French girl persisted as our most enduring archetype? What does dressing for yourself really mean for a woman? How should a female politician dress? Will gender differentiated fashion go forever out of style? How has social media affected and wrapped our sense of self-preservation, and how are we styling ourselves expressly for it? Not everyone participates in painting, literature, or film, but there is no opting out of fashion, and yet fashion is still seen as superficial and trivial, and only the finest couture is considered art. Hyland argues that fashion is a key that unlocks questions of power, sexuality, and class, taps into history, and sends signals to the world around us. Clothes mean something, even if you're just wearing a t-shirt and jeans. So that's Dress Code. And our final book is a novel. It's fiction. Jamila Green Ruins Everything. By Zarqa Naraj. I did not look up names today. I'm so sorry. This comes out March 8th, so sooner than the other one. And again, fiction. So, Jamila Green has only one wish: to see her memoir on the New York Times bestseller list. When her dream doesn't come true, she seeks spiritual guidance at her local mosque. New imam and recent immigrant Ibrahim Sultan is appalled by Jamila's shallowness, but agrees to assist her on one condition: that she perform a good deed. Jamila reluctantly accepts his terms, kicking off a chain of absurd and unfortunate events. When the person the two do-gooders try to help is recruited by a terrorist group called DICK, Dominion of Islamic Caliphate and Kingdoms. I like her acronym. The federal authorities become suspicious of Ibrahim, and soon after, the imam mysteriously disappears. Certain that the CIA has captured Ibrahim for interrogation via torture, Jamila decides to set off on a one-woman operation to rescue him. Her quest soon finds her entangled in an international plan targeting the egomaniacal leader of the terrorist organization, a scheme that puts Jamila and countless others, including her hapless husband and clever but disapproving daughter, at risk. For fans of Where'd You Go, Bernadette and My Sister the Serial Killer, Jamila Green ruins everything as a whip-smart black comedy about the price of success and a biting look at what has gone wrong with American foreign policy in the Middle East. It is a compulsively readable, yet unexpectedly touching novel about one woman's search for meaning and connection, and about the lengths we go for those we love. So, Jamila Green ruins everything. There we go. So, if you want any of these 4 books, click on the link in the description of this live stream. I can also add it to the comments after the fact. And I will give out books tomorrow this time. I also only have 3 leftovers there to choose from, and this was bound to happen eventually. There's stuff that people didn't pick up. So, fair warning, I give you 3 weeks to pick up a book. If you don't, it comes back to me, and I'm just going to give it to someone else. I don't want it to not go to anyone, and we can't leave it on the shelf forever. So, that's what's available. If you would like to enter, please do so, and I will contact you tomorrow if you win. All right, let's move on to our books. We've got a lot today, because, like I said, publishing is just like whoosh all of a sudden. I don't know why they decide we don't buy and read books at the end of the year. That strikes me as so weird, because I kind of do more reading, I feel like, in winter than I do, say, in summer, comparatively. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure they've done all sorts of numbers about when we're willing to buy books. And it may actually also be related to when libraries have their fiscal years. Because when you start to run out of money, you start to run out of money. So they want to be sure that we're, flush with book buying money before they start releasing books. Moving right along to March hits. Let's start with The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh. Emma was quite certain she'd never fall in love again. But then she met an obituary writer, Leo, and within months they were engaged. 7 years later came Ruby, their daughter, and then John Keats, their rescue dog. Now Emma, a marine biologist, has her perfect little ecosystem. They are happy, crammed into the tiny house her grandmother left her. Leo was adopted as a baby, and this noisy, joyous little family is the first place he has ever felt he belongs. In fact, everything would be just perfect if Emma was who she said she was. If Emma was even her real name. Because of Emma's preeminence in her field, Leo is asked to write his own wife's obituary while she is still alive. That's when he finds that the woman he thinks he knows doesn't really exist. As Leo starts to unravel the truth about the stranger in his bed, Emma's old life breaks out of the carefully cultivated shell she created, threatening to wash away everything she has worked so hard to build. When the very darkest moments of Emma's past finally emerge, she must somehow prove to Leo that she really is the woman he always thought she was. But first, she must tell him about the love of her other life. If this got a star review from Kirkus, if you're interested in The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh, it comes out March 1st. Okay, let me scoot this over here so I can do like that. One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle, I think. When Katie's mother dies, she is left reeling. Carol wasn't just Katie's mom, but her best friend and first phone call. She had all the answers. And now, when Katie needs her most, she is gone. To make matters worse, their planned mother-daughter trip of a lifetime looms. 2 weeks in Positano, the magical town Carol spent the summer right before she met Katie's father. Katie has been waiting years for Carol to take her, and now she is faced with embarking on the adventure alone. But as soon as she steps foot on the Amalfi Coast, Katie begins to feel her mother's spirit. Buoyed by the stunning waters, beautiful cliffsides, delightful residents, and of course delectable food, Katie feels herself coming back to life. And then Carol appears. In the flesh, healthy, suntanned, and 30 years old. Katie doesn't understand what is happening, or how, all she can focus on is that she has somehow, impossibly, gotten her mother back. Over the course of one Italian summer, Katie gets to know Carol, not as her mother, but as the young woman before her. She is not exactly who Katie imagined she might be, however, and soon Katie must reconcile the mother she knew, who knew everything, with a young woman who does not yet have a clue. We're getting this as an audiobook as well, if you're interested in that. One Italian Summer comes out March 1st. All right. And just noteworthy for the frequent viewer of this program, stuff's coming out all over March. There isn't like a single date. Usually it's March 1st, and arguably more of it's towards the end of the month. There's a bunch of March 29th. No idea what that's about. Moving on. Along the Rio Grande by Tracy Peterson. This is the beginning of a new series, which I'm sure they're going to explain again. But recently widowed Susanna Jenkins has decided to follow her family to the booming town of San Marcial, New Mexico, for a fresh start and to aid in her family's sudden change of fortune. They are asked with managing her uncle's new grand hotel, and it takes all her patience to try to help her parents see the good of their circumstances and relinquish their sense of entitlement. Owen Turner works as a boilermaker for the Santa Fe train stops in San Marcial. He's immediately attracted to Susanna upon meeting her, but he hesitates to risk opening his heart again, especially as painful memories are stirred up of his own late sibling when Susanna's brother is assigned to work under him. When misguided choices put Susanna's family in an even more precarious situation, she needs someone to rely on. But if Owen can't face the past, he'll miss out on his greatest chance at love. Again, this is the beginning of a new series, so if you enjoy Tracy Peterson, you'll want to know that that's happening. Along the Rio Grande comes out March 1st. All right. Ooh, okay. I am not taking back anything I've ever said about James Patterson, except that sometimes his taste in co-authors is not so very bad. So this is Run, Rose, Run by Dolly Parton and James Patterson. Every song tells a story. She's a star on the rise, singing about the hard life behind her. She's also on the run. Find a future, lose a past. Nashville is where she's come to claim her destiny. It's also where the darkness she's fled might find her and destroy her. Run, Rose, Run is a novel glittering with danger and desire, a story that only America's #1 most beloved entertainer and its #1 best-selling author could have created. I am all for Dolly Parton. She is a national treasure, and I am ready to condone pretty much anything she does. So, yes, if you are interested in Run, Rose, Run, it comes out March 7th. And we'll tolerate James Patterson's presence there. She needed someone to show her how to set up chapters and whatnot. Okay. Moving on to High Stakes by Danielle Steele. Sometimes Danielle Steele and James Patterson will often have really short descriptions. Because the book sells on their name more than anything else and their writing style. This is not the case. Danielle Steele has decided to describe this book. Okay. So, buckle up. Here we go. Jane Addison is an ambitious young woman with big dreams of owning her own company someday. At 28, she arrives in New York to start a job at Fletcher & Benson, a prestigious talent agency. Eager to impress her new colleagues, Jane jumps right in as an assistant to Haley West, one of the agents in the literary department. Haley is dedicated to the authors she represents, but her home life is chaotic and challenging. After her husband's tragic and untimely death, she was left widowed with 3 children to raise on her own. Then there's Francine Rivers, the stern and accomplished head of the literary department, also a single mom after her husband's affair with a nanny. She has overcome the resulting financial hardships, but only with unbearable sacrifice. Compared to Haley and Francine, drama agent Allie Moore's life seems much more carefree and uncomplicated. She relishes her success and loves working with the talented actors they represent, until a passionate relationship with one of her rising star clients threatens to derail her career. Meriwether Jones is the CFO for the agency. She appears to have it all, beauty, success, and a perfect marriage, until her husband's jealousy over the career then threatens to blow everything up. Even though she's a newcomer, Jane quickly realizes that there are damaging secrets behind the doors of Fletcher and Benson. As one of the youngest employees, she has the least power, but is also the least willing to accept things as they've been for years. When she puts everything on the line to right these wrongs, the consequences will leave no one unscathed. In this riveting novel, Danielle Steele tells the story of a group of remarkable women navigating the challenges of balancing their families, their personal lives, and the high stakes of ambition at the top of their game. So if you're interested in high stakes, it comes out March 8th. All right, another best-selling author. After a list of best-selling authors. The Summer Getaway by Susan Mallory. With her divorce settlement about to run out and a mortgage she can't afford, Robin Caldwell needs a plan for her future. She nurtured her family and neglected herself. But how's she supposed to think when her daughter has become the most demanding bride ever? Her son won't even consider college. Her best friend is on the brink of marital disaster, and her ex is making a monumentally bad decision that could bring everything crashing down on Robin's head. So when her great-aunt Lillian invites her to Santa Barbara for the summer, Robin hops on the first plane. But it's hard to run away when you're the heart of the family. One by one, everyone she left behind follows her across the country. Somehow their baggage doesn't feel as heavy in the sun-drenched, mishmashed mansion. The more time Robin spends with free-spirited Lillian, the more she sees the appeal in taking chances. On dreams, on love, on family. Life is meant to be lived on purpose. All she has to do is muster the courage to take a chance on herself. I like the setup for this one involves a mom trying to get away and then everyone following her. If you're interested in the Summer Getaway, it comes out March 15th. All right. The extremely popular Janet Ivanovich has another new series, The Recovery Agent. Lost something? Gabriella Rose knows how to get it back. As a recovery agent, she's hired by individuals and companies seeking lost treasure, stolen heirlooms, or missing assets of any kind. She's reliable, cool under pressure, and well-trained in weapons of all types. But Gabriella's latest job isn't for some bamboozled billionaire. It's for her own family, whose home is going to be wiped off the map if they can't come up with a lot of money fast. Inspired by an old family legend, Gabriella sets off for the jungles of Peru in pursuit of the Ring of Solomon and the lost treasure of Cortez. But this particular job comes with a huge problem attached to it. Gabriella's ex-husband, Raffier. It's Raffier who has the map that possibly points to the way to the treasure, and he's not about to let Gabriella find it without him. Raffier is as... I like the name. Raffier is as relaxed as Gabriella is driven, and he has a lifetime experience getting under his ex-wife's skin. But when they aren't bickering about old times, the two make a formidable team, and it's going to take a team to defeat the vicious drug lord who has also been searching for the fabled ring. A drug lord who doesn't mind leaving a large body count behind him to get it. The Recovery Agent marks the start of an irresistible new series that will have you clamoring for more and cheering for the unstoppable Gabriella Rose on every page. We are getting this both in print and in audiobook. If you are interested in The Recovery Agent, it comes out March 22nd. All right. This is a Pulitzer Prize winning author, Ann Tyler, and the novel is called French Braid. It's described as a freshly observed, funny, joyful, brilliantly perceptive journey deep into a family's foibles, from the 1950s up to our pandemic present. Okay. The Garretts take their first and last family vacation in the summer of 1959. They hardly ever venture beyond Baltimore, but in some ways, they have never been farther apart. Mercy has trouble resisting the siren call of her aspirations to be a painter, which means less time keeping house for her husband, Robin. Their teenage daughters, Steady Alice and Boy Crazy Lily, could not have less in common. Their youngest, David, is already intent on escaping his family's orbit, for reasons none of them understands. Yet as these lives advance across decades, the Garretts' influence on one another ripple ineffably but unmistakably through each generation. Full of heartbreak and hilarity, French Braid is classic Anne Tyler, a stirring, uncannily insightful novel of tremendous warmth and humor that illuminates the kindness and cruelties of our daily lives, the impossibility of breaking free from those who love us, and how close, yet how unknowable, every family is to itself. This got a star review from Booklist. We are also getting the audiobook if you're interested in that. French Braid comes out March 22nd. All right, moving on to some paperback fun. The Shop on Royal Street by Karen White. After a difficult hiccup on the road to adulthood, Nola is looking to begin again in New Orleans. And what better way to start her future than with her first house? But the historic fixer-upper she buys comes with even more work than she anticipated when the house's previous occupants don't seem to be ready to depart. Although she can't communicate with ghosts like her stepmother, luckily Nola knows someone in New Orleans who can, even if he's the last person on earth she wants anything to do with ever again. Because Beau Ryan comes with his own dark past, a past that involves the disappearance of his sister and parents during Hurricane Katrina, and the unsolved murder of a woman who once lived in the old Creole cottage Nola is determined to make her own, whether or not the residents' restless spirits agree. If you're interested in The Shop on Royal Street, it comes out March 29th. Moving on to the ever-popular Fern Michaels. Popular and prolific. Fear Thy Neighbor by Fern Michaels. At 29, Allison Marshall is ready to find a place to call home. With no family and no ties, she's drifted from one small Florida town to another since high school, working odd jobs, saving hard, and building a nest egg. Once she finds the right place to settle down, she'll know. And when she reaches beautiful Palmetto Island, she thinks she may have found it. The small, close-knit island community seems to have everything Allison needs. On a hunch, she contacts the island's only realtor and learns that an old beach house is on the market. Miraculously, it's in her budget, and Allison takes it as another sign that she's in the right place. At first, home is everything she hoped it would be, but as days turn into weeks, she uncovers a dark side to this supposedly peaceful haven. The locals have a secret, and once Allison discovers what it is, she faces a stark choice. She can stay and join them, or escape. But leaving brings its own risks, and Allison is starting to wonder if coming to Palmetto Island is the last mistake she'll ever make. Okay, if you're interested in Fear Thy Neighbors, it comes out March 29th. Okay. Ooh, this is a New York Times bestselling author who has decided to set this book in Alabama. So, Empty Vows by Mary Moore. 40-something-year-old widow Jessie Tucker is beloved throughout Lexington, Alabama, for her kind heart and endless generosity. But she feels it's past time she rewarded herself, especially when upstanding Herbert Wiggins tragically loses his wife and son. Making herself indispensable, yet discouraged by Hubert's lack of romantic interest, Jessie cooks up a deception she knows will make pious Hubert do right by her. Hoax or not, Hubert couldn't be happier. The passionate self he's long hidden from everyone has a new, much riskier secret love. And the unsuspecting second Mrs. Wiggins will help him maintain his ever-so-devout image in the community. But when Herbert is not the ardent lover Jessie always dreamed he was, she turns her desires to handsome younger man Conway. Suddenly, the good church wife can't resist temptation at all. And someone is watching, Conway's new girlfriend, and Jessie's longtime rival, Blondine. Now, Blondine has the perfect opportunity to harass Jessie, destroy her reputation, drive her out of town, then become the real wife Hubert should have had all along. In one shattering night, Jessie, Blondine, and Hubert will each go too far, and when their web of deceit threatens to drag them under for good, they will only have one chance to erase the past and claim everything they ever wanted, if their secrets don't destroy them first. Okay. If you're interested in Empty Vows, it comes out March 29th. We're down to our penultimate novel. This one called What Happened to the Bennetts by Lisa Scottoli. I have no idea how to pronounce her name, but she's another Lisa, so we're going to call her Lisa. All right. Jason Bennett is a suburban dad who owns a court reporting business. But one night, his life takes a horrific turn. He is driving his family home after his daughter's lacrosse game when a pickup truck begins tailgating them on a dark stretch of road. Suddenly, two men jump from the pickup and pull guns on Jason, demanding the car. A horrific flash of violence changes his life forever. Later that awful night, Jason and his family receive a visit from the FBI. The agents tell them that the carjackers were members of a dangerous drug trafficking organization, and now Jason and his family are in their crosshairs. The agents advise the Bennetts to enter the witness protection program right away, and they have no choice but to agree. But WITSEC was designed to protect criminal informants, not law-abiding families. Taken from all they know, trapped in an unfamiliar life, the Bennetts begin to fall apart at the seams. Then Jason learns a shocking truth and realizes that he has to take matters into his own hands. Okay, if you're interested in What Happened to the Bennetts by my fellow Lisa, it comes out March 29th. And our final book of the day, The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. In the snowbound city of Kiev, wry and bookish history student Mila organizes her life around her library job and her young son. But Hitler's invasion of Russia sends her on a different path. Given a rifle and sent to join the fight, Mila must forge herself from studious girl to deadly sniper, a lethal hunter of Nazis known as Lady Death. When news of her 300th kill makes her a national heroine, Mila finds herself torn from the bloody battlefields of the Eastern Front and sent to America on a goodwill tour. Still reeling from war wounds and devastated by loss, Mila finds herself isolated and lonely in the glittering world of Washington, D.C., until an unexpected friendship with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt and an even more unexpected connection with a silent fellow sniper offer the possibility of happiness. But when an old enemy from Mila's past joins forces with a deadly new foe lurking in the shadows, Lady Death finds herself battling her own demons and enemy bullets in the deadliest duel of her life. Based on a true story, The Diamond Eye is a haunting novel of heroism born of desperation, of a mother who became a soldier, of a woman who found her place in the world and changed the course of history forever. We are also buying this as an audiobook. If you're interested in The Diamond Eye, it comes out March 29th. All right, that is us for today. If you are, nope, I don't know what just happened. I'm back. It's okay. I'm back. Please enter the giveaway if you are interested in any of the books being given away. I will contact winners tomorrow around this time, noonish, between noon and 1. And thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope next Tuesday goes this well or possibly better. Next Tuesday, we're going to talk about yellow labels. So mystery, suspense, and thriller. The list is very long. So I will see you then. Now, let's see if I can get my outro to work. I'm betting. Okay. See now. See? It's supposed to play. It's supposed to play a little thing. How come you don't play? I don't understand. Okay. I continue to not know what I'm doing wrong. So, I'm just going to come back over to here and say goodbye. I will see you next Tuesday.